Hello and welcome to The Dark Roast. I'm Donna Stroll and I'm here with the always lovely and talented Rose Short. And today's topic is about surviving affiliate marketing chaos, that merchant mayhem that stresses us all out. And by mayhem, what we're talking about is those things when your best-selling product suddenly jumps in price, or your commissions get slashed on the opposite end of that, or your merchant changes terms overnight, because sometimes that happens too, or your best offer ever, the one that works super well for you, just is gone. Right? And that happens, right? You've got something and they decide, oh, it's time to do something better. And you're like, but wait, I was making money with that. So, and if you've been in the marketing realm for a while, you know this happens, and it does happen a lot, and it's going to happen even more as times change, as finances outside of things change, as people's trust changes. So our job today actually is to help you build a business that can survive that chaos instead of getting wrecked by it every time things change. So
yeah, for sure. We're already seeing a shift in influencer marketing anyway, where not necessarily affiliate marketers, but like influencers spectrum is changing. People are having less faith in influencers, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but that's where, again, it becomes super important that you are keeping honest and true to who you are for your audience and being authentic, everything we've talked about, right? So one of the most common merchant chaos themes that we like to talk about, right, is the sudden price increase, because we've all seen this, right? So you're promoting a product, it's $49, and then suddenly it jumps to $79. And now you're like, oh, shoot, all of my content that I've made around this is now completely null and void. So it's technically out of date. And your audience, of course, is going to notice. Anybody in your email thread is going to notice. Anyone who's been paying for it already is going to notice, right? If it's a recurring versus a one-time. So there are lots of easy ways to circumvent that. Obviously, again, being authentic, being honest, telling your audience, hey, this has increased in price. This is not my doing. This is the company, whatever. It's pretty easy to navigate. But again, that's where doing your check-ins with your content is super important.
And then the next one that gets you is the commission cuts, right? And that hurts. A merchant that you've been working with for a long time suddenly decides that they're going to reduce your commissions from 30% to 15% or 10%. And that kind of sucks, right? Because you've been working with them and now all of a sudden your money goes down. Amazon Associates has continuously tighten their policies, and it makes it harder to get in and harder to make money with it, because 10% of a dollar is nothing, right? And so it gets more and more difficult, and it also changes how those commissions are credited, right? Sometimes it's a matter of the window for your credit is maybe the commission didn't go down, but the window went way down. So now people aren't buying within a week. You no longer have that commission, which sucks, because it used to be 30 days or maybe it was lifetime. And that's huge. So,
and then a big one that we saw last year, product discontinuation, or in this case, forced discontinuation, right? Nothing says, hey, good morning, checking your dashboard and discovering that it's gone. I've had this happen. I wasn't getting paid anyway, and then I tried to log into my dashboard and, oh, it doesn't exist anymore. That sucks. That is a really bad feeling. But again, this is why you diversify. This is why you make sure that all of your income isn't coming from one offer or one program.
And it's that these are the shocks that you don't want, right? Yeah. Shipping and fee changes is another one. Because face it, our consumers, the people, they're much more sensitive about price than they used to be. So if you're dealing with physical products, that shipping increase can be a huge deal, right? And so you have to find new ways to promote it. Maybe you start promoting it so that it's the higher price, but it doesn't say shipping and handling, because that will stop people. Ask anyone on Etsy or on eBay. They'll tell you, right? Yep. TikTok and all of those. The hidden operational costs start coming in as well. The fees that they start taking from your commissions. And then promo expirations is another one that platforms are cracking down harder on outdated discount claims. TikTok affiliates, they've now specifically warned creators against displaying expired promotional, because people get pissed off, right? Yeah. They go to, oh, it's this big promotion, you go and it's not. And that's super irritating for your consumers. So you understand why they're doing it. But you got to stay on top of that. It means that your old content can really become a liability, and that's a problem for you. So
yeah, promo offers and whatnot are usually, that's why you want your email list, because it's really easy to send those in your email list versus doing your evergreen content. Because if you're doing it as content, as you say, you're going to have to remember when you posted it and where, and go back and take it down when the promo ends. And this is why, again, build your list. Email marketing really comes in handy at this point. So why is this happening more often, right? We talked about it's going to be happening more in 2026. A lot of new marketers might think, oh gosh, I picked the wrong niche, or what am I doing? I went over my head. And it's probably not that. The bigger reality is that e-commerce itself has become more unstable as it's grown, right? So there's rising costs everywhere. You've got your payment processors, your platforms, which are always changing, your shipping carriers. As there's economic impact, there's supply chain issue, right? Which we're definitely seeing right now. Fulfillment services, all of these things, everybody's increasing their fees to try to absorb the cost of the tariffs or the cost of whatever else is going on, whatever supply chain issues they're having issues with. And that's where trickle-down economics actually works, right? It doesn't really work for making money,
work for bringing you money, but it certainly brings you the prices.
Exactly. So e-commerce announced major pricing and fee changes for 2026, and it's just going to continue, right? Again, credit card fees, more and more people are understanding, oh, if I own this processor, I can make a cut of all these credit card transactions, right? Well, to take a cut, that means the fee has to go up. So those fees are increasing in several categories this year. And again, it's not the business, it's not the platform, it's not the processors who are going to absorb that, it's the customer. And as an affiliate marketer, it's going to affect you because it's going to affect your customers.
Absolutely. And then there's the AI pricing system. So dynamic pricing is becoming more common. So prices now fluctuate. They go up, they go down. You don't have that solid ground that you used to have. It's based on demand and competition and inventory and ad spend, which means static content will age really fast. Again, pricing in your content, it used to be pretty comfortable to say this is $79.99 or this is a $49, even if it's a course. Right? But it's no longer safe to put that in there. That's where you need it in writing. So it's much easier to track and go back and change if you need it to, because it's a lot harder in your content, in your videos and stuff like that, unless you want to make sure you're tracking every old video and short that you do. It's much easier to track that in the verbal, in the written, so in your emails or in your blogs, that kind of stuff. And then there's a lot of compliance pressure as well. As things get more difficult, there's also more compliance in a lot of areas. It may not seem like it sometimes as a consumer, but it is becoming more compliant. You have to see scrutiny around deceptive pricing, and affiliate disclosures is increasing. They already started really pushing it, but they're pushing it more and more. That means that you need to be more accurate, and the merchants, the people that you are actually promoting for, are going to also be a lot more challenging to you. You can't oops it. There's no room for oops anymore.
Yep. So how do you protect your income with all this, right? Well, this part, a lot of the marketers kind of skip over, right? They go, oh, this is getting difficult, and they just let the program go or move on or go to the next shiny object or anything like that, right? But again, diversify your income, diversify your merchants, right? Never build your entire income around one program, one platform, one source. Yeah. And we harp on this a lot, and it's because we've seen so many people suddenly broke and jobless because the business they built wasn't really a business. It was all focused on one thing. So it's tempting, especially when one merchant, one offer is converting beautifully and it's the bulk of your income right now, right? It's really tempting to put all of your energy and all your time into that. But depending on which offer you're building your business on, if that one offer folds, again, you didn't have a business. You had a single branch. It was basically your job, right? So you need backups. So at minimum, you need 3 merchants per niche, right? So if you have 3 niches, you should be running 9 affiliate programs. you need at least 2 traffic sources. This can be organic, this can be paid, it can be a combination of both. This is, again, you can use TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram to build your email list, right? And then if one of those goes down, it's fine, you still have your list. If all social media goes down, it's fine, you still have your list. And then one audience asset that you own, which again is your list, right? This is why so many marketers harp on about the money's in the list, build your list, build your list, build your list. We've all seen how volatile social media can be, especially as it changes and people are getting more and more sick of it, honestly.
Yeah. You hear a lot of people who are, every day you see people who are like, that's it, I'm done with this. But this is also, that's one form of volatility. And then you have the volatility of platforms that host your stuff. They aren't necessarily social media. So things like Etsy, where you're building something and then it's gone because you violated something you didn't realize you violated, and now your entire business is gone. We've seen that so many times. And it's the same thing with, it can happen on eBay as well. It can happen with your Amazon affiliates. So it's not just social media. That's why you need to diversify, and that's why you need multiple traffic sources.
Yep. Yeah. And that's where your audience over traffic comes in, right? So like blogs. Yes, people have lost their blogs completely, but it's a lot more rare than losing their entire Etsy store, their entire social media, or anything like that, right? Reddit discussions among active affiliates in 2026 consistently points to the same theme, which is audience trust is outperforming even SEO, especially generic SEO, right? People want recommendations from humans they trust. We've talked about this before. And they want to know that you've actually used it, which is why we talk about only promoting things that you use, right? They don't want the robotic, this is definitely ChatGPT top 10 blenders to use, an article that sounds really generic, has no voice, and could have been written by anybody, right? They want to know, hey, these are the top 5 supplements that I take. Here's what each one does. Here's why I take them. Here's why maybe you shouldn't take them, right? They want that clear human aspect to it, as well as, again, real world data. They want to know that you're using it, that you've seen a difference, or that you haven't seen a difference. Like it's so easy for companies and AI to lie to us, and we've been lied to so much that this is why we're seeing such an increase in, again, not necessarily influencer, because I think influencers becoming on that side of, oh, they'll do whatever for money. But with your smaller brand, your smaller personal brand, like your smaller marketers, this is where it's really impactful, because you have the opportunity to build that trust without any of the paid promotions. And that's going to build your audience, which is going to become way more powerful than any traffic you're aiming for.
And that's why, too, probably if you're looking to work with an influencer, the micro influencers are probably going to be the better choice moving forward for a while, until we sort out what's real and what's not, because that is the big thing right now. And then you use the comparison content. So comparison content tends to age better because you can replace the products as you need. Right? As you're going A versus B, it's really easy to swap out A or B. Now with the video, obviously that's going to be a little bit different, but it certainly works still, because you're going to say, I did compare this to this, and now I'm comparing that B product to this new A product. Instead of, this is the only solution, which people hype, right? Here are some options. Here are 3 options depending on your budget and your goals. People will appreciate that, because now you're taking their situation into account versus saying, this is the one you have to have. It's a much safer long-term kind of thing, because then you can easily swap out what you need. And these are the 3 options that I used to have. I swapped out this one for this one because I found it was better than that, and here's the reasons why. Gives you an opportunity to really build off of that. Whereas if you say, this is it, only use this, then if you do need to change, suddenly there goes some of that credibility that you worked so hard to get.
Yeah. This is where conflict avoidance is not your friend at all, right? It's not your friend in real life either, but a lot of people use conflict avoidance to avoid stress or something like that. But if you do not communicate to your audience, to your people, when something has changed, your credibility is gone, right? Pretending nothing changed is only going to hurt everybody in the long run, right? So if the price increases, say so, address it, get ahead of it, right? when the whole honey scandal was going on, there was a put out a YouTube that was like, hey, I can't go back and change some of these videos because I don't actually have the rights to them. Some of the videos that I promoted honey in were for other people. So yes, I did promote honey. I did not know what they were doing. This is me publicly saying, if you see a video where I am doing it, I could not change it. He got in front of it and was very, very clear about why he couldn't change the videos and things like that, right? So this is super, super important. If the product gets worse, if they change if it's a supplement and they change their ingredients, you can say that. Absolutely say that. If you switched recommendations, that's fine. Just explain why you're changing from one to the other. Again, people trust honesty more than fake perfection, especially nowadays, right? Because everyone's tired of filters. Everyone's tired of the morning routine where I wake up with makeup and all of that is gone. People want honesty. They want raw. They want the nitty gritty. They can smell the hype. And transparency becomes a real competitive advantage in affiliate marketing. Well, in all marketing, but especially in affiliate marketing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that people don't appreciate polish. They do. But I think we're in a juxtaposition stage where we're seeing so much that's literally not real. And yet I am a proponent of AI in certain things, right? I believe that it is an excellent tool. But we are at an age and a stage where we aren't necessarily using it to the best way. So we see and read things all the time, and we get sucked into a story, and then we get 3 paragraphs in and we realize that this is not a real story. I can tell that this is fake, and that's super irritating because you got me invested, but now I'm annoyed. Or we see pictures or video where it looks like everything looks amazing, and then you go, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. And it's frustrating because you don't know what's real and what's not. And so being the most authentic that you can be and having a bit of that rawness, we're going back to the beginning almost, where it makes you feel more like you can connect with the person that's on, who's trying to talk to you or who you're trying to talk to, because they can see that you're an actual real human being versus something that may or may not be real. And I think that's huge.
All those people that got faked by the one influencer account that was some middle-aged dude, but they thought it was some young girl.
And that happens, right? Because it's possible. And there's certain platforms for making money where there is straight up AI, nothing but AI account. And it's hard because, again, I believe that it's a tool. And I feel like the tool, because it's also fun, it can be fun to play with. It can really get away from you. And it's hard for people to see and know what's real and what's not. And I think that we need that reality right now to help ground us and know where we're at. And it also, the people that we're trying to reach and the people that we're trying to help with the products and services that we have also need that reality. And that's the goal. Remember, when you're doing this affiliate marketing, your goal should be to serve. That's the whole point. You're doing it to provide something somebody needs or that's going to help them in their business or their life. And that's the whole point, right? Yes, they are to make some money, but that shouldn't be your only goal. If that's your only goal, then you're probably going to end up doing it wrong eventually. So
survival systems, right? How do we not fall into this? So again, data audits, right? Weekly merchant audits. Check the pricing, the stock availability, check for commission changes, check for broken links. That one is huge. Check for expired discounts, right? Once a week of doing this saves massive headaches later. And then watch for your conversion trends as well, right? Sometimes your first warning sign is conversions start to decline. So if your clicks are the same, but your sales are tanking, something's changed, figure out what it is. And then always have backup offers, right? You want alternative recommendations prepared before disaster strikes, not after. That way, if you can see that one thing is failing, you can already start boosting that other thing. And again, comparison of why one might be doing better than the other is always really helpful. And then your emergency merchant list. This is something that you really should have, right? It could be a document, it could be a journal entry, it can be an Excel sheet of backup programs that you may or may not be interested in or that you think could possibly replace them, affiliate managers, alternate links, replacement products, all of these things, right? Most affiliate programs will give you 5 or 6 different links. And so they're already split testing them and will tell you which one's working best, but you should also have that handy to swap out if, you see one link start to tank, right? Future you will be deeply grateful for everything you've done if you're on top of it and doing this stuff. If you're not doing this stuff, you're going to be cursing past you hard.
And future you, we got to be nicer to future you in all things. I mean, at the end of the day, affiliate marketing isn't just finding one perfect magical unicorn order, because that doesn't really work, right? It sounds good, and it may seem like it at the beginning, but just like every perfect match, eventually the stardust comes off and you start to see the realities of versus things, right? So it's about becoming adaptable in the reality, because merchants will change, products will change, platforms will change, policies will change. All these things are going to change. That's just part of the business. So marketers who survive long-term are the ones that build trust, that have diversity in their income streams, and they do it smart. They take some time, they research, they do the things that they need to do, and they pivot quickly when they do see things are starting to shift, but they don't panic pivot, right? They don't like, oh my God, the sky is on fire. And they read the signs and they make that adjustment without the high panic of it all. And it's an important skill to have. So if you're new or you're somewhere at the beginning end of it, this is a perfect time to start building those skills so that when the changes happen, you can do that. And that's it. I think that's it for us today. So if you found it helpful, as always, we love any kind of feedback, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Bye. That's it from us. If this episode helped you,
or at least entertained you,
go ahead and like, subscribe, and share.
We'll catch you next time.